Bonjour tout le monde. Hello everyone. Bienvenue à notre classe. Welcome to our class. So in this series of French for beginners, we are going to put up small videos, on certain basic topics like alphabets, accents, what are the different French greetings, how do we meet and greet people, basic sentences that you need to know when you're traveling and you want to converse with someone in French. All right. So let's get started with our first class today. Today's class is going to be on alphabets and accents. Now, just like the English language, French too has the same alphabets A to Z. Additional to this, it has 5 different French accents. While the letters A to Z are the same, the pronunciation, however, varies. Let's have a look at the alphabet table and see what their pronunciation is. You can repeat with me. A, pronounced as A. B, B. C, say. D, they. E, F, F. G, she, H, ash, I, E, J, J, K, Ka, L, M, N, O remains the same. P, P, Q, Q, R, S, S, T, T, U, U, V, way. Now notice, if V is pronounced as way, W is nothing but writing V twice. So W is called W. X, X, Y, Y, Z, Z. Now, out of all these alphabets, the 2 pronunciations which are very important, which help us pronounce a word correctly and which we should remember, A is pronounced as A. E is always pronounced as A. Now, if you have a look, there are certain accents that we see on the letter E in this alphabet table. Let us have a look at what these different accents mean. What do they do? Now, in the French language, we have 5 different accents. These accents simply change the pronunciation of various letters. Just like if you're aware, in Hindi language, we have matras which change the pronunciation of the words. Similarly, these accents either change the pronunciation or in some cases, we use them as a grammar requirement. The first accent that we have is known as accent aigu. Usually, it comes in an E. It's a bar tilted towards the right. Now, if you remember our alphabet table, E is pronounced as A. What this particular accent does is, it converts the A sound of E into an A sound. I'm going to make a small symbol to highlight the pronunciation. I use the symbol to write the pronunciation. So this accent converts the A sound into an A sound. For example, we have this word. Now, normally E is pronounced as A. So B with A is B, B with A is B. But the moment I put an accent on the E, now it is an A sound. B with A is Be and Be. Baby, baby, baby. Similarly, if I ask you, Can you tell me the pronunciation of this particular word? It's very simple. E with an accent is an A sound. F with A pronounced as fay. The word meaning fairy. So our first accent aigu, usually seen on E, gives a slight A sound. It converts the sound of E into A. Let's come to our next accent grave. Accent grave is also usually seen on an E. It's a bar tilted towards the left. It does the same job as an accent aigu. I'm writing down the pronunciation. It converts the sound of E into an A sound. However, what is the difference between the two? This is a more grave accent. Over here, we're going to stress on the A sound. It's not a slight A sound, but we're going to stress on the A sound now. Supposing the word for mother, we know E with an accent is an A sound, but here we are going to really stress on the A sound. It is pronounced as mère, mother. Look at the difference between the two accents. In bébé, we are just pronouncing a slight A sound, bébé. But in accent grave, we're stressing on the A sound, mère. Similarly, the word for father, père. Similarly, the word for brother, frère. If you notice, in the alphabet table that we discussed before, all of these are slight A sounds, accent aigu, bé, sé, dé, j'ai. But when you come to Z, it's an accent grave, Z. We're going to stress on the A sound, Z. Now, our third accent is known as accent cédille. Accent cédille usually comes on a C. It's an inverted C. Now, if you notice, most of the words that begin with C, even in English, they have a K sound. For example, candle, continue, call, commence. Most of these words give a K sound. What this accent does is it converts the K sound into an S sound. Supposing the word for boy, we write garçon. Now, we know that A is pronounced as A, so this is gar, and C-O-N without the accent would have actually been C-O-N, con, just like you say comic con. But it is because of this accent cédille that instead of a K sound, we have an S sound, garçon. If you understand Hindi, you would understand this accent. It's a slight sound between O and N. We don't want to say garçon. We don't want to say garçon. We want to say a slight sound, garçon, between O and N. Okay? In Hindi, this matra is also called on. So we often use it, whenever I write this particular symbol, it basically means an on sound. Okay? Now, our fourth accent is known as accent tremor. Tremor usually comes on an E, on an I, on a U. It is two small dots. Notice I has a dot of its own. When we put the accent, we are not writing the dot, we're putting the accent directly. Accent tremor usually comes when in one word you have two vowels being pronounced together. For example, the word for Christmas, a lot of you would be knowing this word, it's called Noël. We have two different vowels in this, O and E coming together, and we are pronouncing both the vowels, no, E, L, Noël. Christmas. Accent tremor in that case is usually put on the second vowel. So out of O and E, we're going to put accent tremor on E. Noyelle. Similarly, the word for actress, heroine, again, we have O and I together. So we're going to put accent tremor on the second vowel, which is I, heroine, actress. Our fifth and our last vowel is accent circumflex. Accent circumflex usually comes on all the 5 vowels. It's a small inverted cap. Now notice I has a dot of its own, but when we put the accent, we don't write the original dot of I, we write the accent directly. Now circumflex usually gives a different look to the French words. If you notice, most of your European languages, Spanish, German, English, French, they all have a common source, Latin. Now, what happens is when so many languages originate out of one single language, the words across these various languages tend to be similar. The purpose of accent circumflex is to give the French words a different look. For example, in English, we say hotel. In French, we write the same thing. Just the H is a silent H, we don't pronounce it, and O has an accent. It's actually pronounced as hôtel in French. If you notice, both the words are very similar in their look. The only thing that is different is the accent circumflex. So this particular accent does not really change the pronunciation of the word, does not have any grammar requirement as such, but it gives a different look to the French words. So that is it for today. I hope this class was useful to you. And if you like, please do, if you really like the class, please do like this video. Please do subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for more such daily videos. Au revoir. Bye.